Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an everyday makeup look for you guys. I do not wear makeup every day. Recently I have only been wearing makeup a couple days a week, just on the days that I'd like my skin to look a little bit better or where I'd like to look a bit more presentable. I know during this time not a whole lot of people are really putting effort into getting ready because we're all stuck here at home, but I would love to share my makeup routine with you, and if you would like to see what products I use and how I do it, just stay tuned. So the first thing that I always do is I wash my face. So I use this Shea Moisture Honey and Yogurt Glow Getter Cleanser, and it's very hydrating. I have very dry skin, especially during this time of year, so this is what I like to use. The next step in my makeup routine is I use the exact same moisturizer. It is the Shea Butter Honey and Yogurt Moisturizer. It is a serum. It's really interesting. It's like a solid. So what I do is I will get a pretty decent amount on my finger. I have long nails right now, so I just use my nails. It comes out as a solid, kind of like coconut oil does. So I will warm it up between my fingers and sorry, it's hard to talk while I put on moisturizer. I will massage it into my skin in an upward kind of motion. I did mention that I have dry skin, so I tend to use moisturizers that are more like a serum. After moisturizer, I do a primer and a setter. So something that I've discovered is when I do my makeup and I set it with a facial spray or when I spray it with water, it looks a lot more cakey and it looks a lot, I don't know, it just looks fake on me. So what I've discovered is when I use my setting spray as like a primer, it doesn't look like that. So right now I'm using the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Hydrating Setting Spray in the dewy finish. So I give it a good shake and then I lean back and spritz my face. I will be putting foundation down my neck, so I also like to get my neck as well. Next, I use a eye primer, and I use the NYX eye primer, and it's just in a white color. White is a good color to use because it provides like that blank canvas for your eyeshadow to go on. So I just get a little bit on the back of my hand. So I use the back of an eyeshadow brush and I kind of scoop it in and just use a little bit on the back of my hand. And I apply. It does look very white and kind of scary, but I assure you we will look a lot better by the end. And I am going to be putting eyeshadow under my eyes and on my lower lash line, so I like to make sure that I have it there. And now that I look like a ghost raccoon, we can move on to foundation. So right now I'm using the Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation in the color Vanilla. I love this. I got it for really cheap, actually, probably about $10–15 at Marshall's. I usually take about a couple pumps, maybe 2 or 3 pumps on the back of my hand, and I have already dampened my Beauty Blender sponge. Dip it in, and then I start stippling all over my face. I don't like a lot of foundation because I'm not a big fan of really cakey makeup at all, so I just like to do a light layer all over my face as a base. And you can't really see it unless you're super close to me, but I do have some freckles on my nose and a little bit around kind of my T-zone area. I like those to kind of show through because I like being natural, and that is just something really unique about me, especially in the summertime. My freckles get pretty dark. And as you can see, I take my foundation down my neck And then whatever I have left, I'll go over kind of my under eye area, my nose. Okay, so that's foundation done. So you always want your foundation to dry on your face before you set it with powder, or else it's going to look extremely cakey. So at this time, I like to do my eyeshadow. So starting out, I always start out with like a transition like crease color. So your crease is kind of like where your eyeball ends and where your brow bone begins, so like right in here. So I use this Sonia Kashuk eyeshadow palette. I got it at Target for $10-15. I don't remember. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this light brown and a kind of like salmon-y pink color. I'm feeling pretty natural today, so I mix those colors and then I just put it into my crease, blending as I go. Eyeshadow has always been my favorite part of my makeup routine. My original Jaclyn Hill palette, as you can see, it's very well used. It's extremely dirty, stained with eyeliner and mascara and all the other eyeshadows. So I have lots of colors to choose from. So today I'm feeling pretty natural. I don't really want a whole lot, so I'm going to take this kind of pinky color right here. A lot of people use brushes to put on their lid color. I don't know why, it's just never really worked for me, so I just use my middle finger to put on my shadows. So that's really shimmery and really pretty. I usually just start with that initial layer, and what I'll do is after I have my lid color on, I'll go back in with the same brush I used for my crease and just kind of blend it out. So now what I'll do is I'll take my beauty blender, and sometimes I'll get a little bit of excess eyeshadow under my eyes, so this kind of just wipes it away, takes it away. What I do is I will set my under eyes and kind of like around the corners of my mouth. I use the Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder in a white. I use a Real Techniques setting brush. I take whatever's in the cap as I open up the bottle. I dip it in and just kind of pat this under my eyes. Foundation or concealer from melting away. If I have a really fancy event to go to or a special dinner or something, I will use a concealer, or if my skin is looking not so great that day, I will use concealer, but since I'm not really going anywhere, I'm not gonna, be around a whole lot of people, I'll just, use my foundation, kind of double it up as my concealer. I take my Jaclyn Hill highlighter in the color Do Me. I will take whatever comes out in the lid right here and a big fluffy Real Techniques brush. I'll swirl it in, tap off any excess, and just kind of pat. I found that like swiping it also makes me look very cakey. So just pressing the product into my skin. And I love this powder because it's actually a highlighter, and it is a really fine powder, so it doesn't look like you have, crazy disco ball highlighter all over your face. It's just very subtle, and it works really well to set my skin. Now, call me crazy, but I use an eyeshadow as a bronzer. Take this Sonia Kashuk really old brush, it's really small. I take my Jaclyn Hill palette, and this color right here is what I use to kind of bronze or contour my face. I tap off the excess. I don't do a crazy contour because it's just not my thing. It doesn't look very natural to me. So what I do is I will go under my cheekbone. And just kind of start blending. I don't go too far down just because I don't think that works really well for my face shape. And I don't do a ton. I know it looks like I'm probably doing a lot, but I really don't. I like to be as natural as possible. Then I just do my chin and my jawline. And I do my temples up here, like the sides of my head. Be sure to take it down your neck. Anything that you put on your face, you want to make sure that you take it down your neck so that way you blend the colors. I take my Real Techniques fluffy brush, the one I used to put on my powder, and just kind of buff that into my skin. Just blending it, making sure that I don't have harsh lines and that it's not too much. I take my Jaclyn Hill highlighter palette. It looks like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you can kind of see. So I combine the colors Gleam and Iced to create my perfect highlight color. So I just dip them both and tap off any excess. And I just do the tops of my cheekbones. I do it on my chin, like right here, like a tip of my nose, and then a little bit on the sides of my head. Now, I take this big fat brush that I got from Target. I believe it's a Sony Akashic brush. I take the color Mesmerized right here and use it as kind of like a base for my blush. So I just smile to find my apples and just kind of pat it along my cheeks. Next, I take this Milani Baked Blush in the color Dulce Pink. I will take the blush and just kind of dip my brush in there, and then put it over the places I put Mesmerized. So now I like to go back in and use a little bit more eyeshadow. And something that I've learned is that I have what is called hooded eyes. So my eyeshadow really is prone to creasing a lot. So I like to put some extra eyeshadow to kind of eliminate that creasing. It doesn't completely, but it does help. It takes a lot longer for it to crease. And then I just blend it out again. I am going to take this I'm going to take this side of a brush, and with the same colors I used in my Sony Akashic palette for my transition colors, I'm going to dip it in, tap off any excess, and go under my eyes. Then I take the other side of the brush and I just blend it out. Next, I'll take this shimmery color right here, and I will put it on the inner tear duct of my eyes. Kind of open them up, make them like a little bit wider and brighter. Now I do my eyebrows, and once again I just take my Jaclyn Hill palette. I use it for everything basically. So I take this color right down here. So I just fill in what I already have. So like I'll start at the bottom of my brow and kind of create an outline. Then I'll use the spoolie to kind of disperse the product. Now, eyebrows are sisters and not twins, so they don't have to look exactly the same. They don't have to look absolutely perfect. Now for eyeliner, I use a Milani Stay Matte liquid eyeliner. I shake up the product a little bit and then I kind of take off a little bit of product. And what I'm going to do is I start in the middle of my eye and kind of brush my way outward and create a wing. And then as you guys could see, I kind of created a little triangle in the corner of my eye, and I just fill in the triangle. And the great thing about eyeliner is that you can start your line really, really thin, and if you make a mistake, if you mess up, you can always just make it thicker. Now I take my Tweezerman eyelash curler, and my eyelashes grow really, really straight, so I hold my curler down for about 30 seconds each. Then I take my ColourPop mascara and just the black color. Oops. So I'm going to show you what you can do for that little mistake. So what you want to do is you actually want to let this little spot of mascara dry, because if you start wiping it, it's just going to be a wet product and it's not going to, you know, go away as easily, and you're going to mess up all the makeup that you already did. So just let it dry. So for this little spot, what you do is you take a Q-tip and you just wipe it away. It's really easy to kind of just get off, and it doesn't leave too big of a mark. It's, you know, just really easy to fix. So now while that first coat of mascara is drying, I take my e.l.f. Clear Brow and Lash Mascara and just kind of set my brows in place. I just brush them up and then over. And then I'll take my Wet n Wild Mega Volume Waterproof Mascara. And then I just do a really light coat under my lashes, on my bottom lashes. Now finally for lips, I recently discovered at Target the brand Winky Lux. I used their lip balm. It's really, really cool. It's a clear color. It has a beautiful little flower in there. I'm not sure if you can see that really well, but this is in the color pink, and it's a clear balm, but it turns your lips pink, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I just apply that straight on from the tube. Okay, so that is my everyday makeup routine. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.